Greetings and salutations, Ben here. Welcome to Canucks with Guitars, starring, I guess, me, sure, because I hit the on button, right. And we've got Terry, yay. We've got Tom, yay. We've got chatters, yay. We've got the presenters, because I remembered at the end to put the banner up. And LPD, Reno Fin, Tesi, Tone, Vibraprint, Flipslide, and Ardens. Yep. Shotgun style. Right at you. Welcome one, welcome all. Roll call. How's the week been? Roll call. How's the week been? You know what? I'm gonna go with let's let a few more people roll in, and then we'll do big time roll call. Terry, you survived the weekend. How's it going? Anything new?
The crash of Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
One more too. There was three of them I thought that crashed.
WhatsApp crashed, TikTok crashed, Snapchat crashed.
Oh, yeah, WhatsApp. Because it's also part of the whole...
Yeah, they all kind of have...
And they're trying to say, like, that it wasn't involving any kind of outside hackers. And I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
This all happened to crash on the same day, right?
Yeah. Tom, your weekend? How was it, my friend?
Long.
Long?
Trying.
I'm just fine. Other than that, though, hey, there's stuff we're going to be talking about the weekend here in a moment, folks. So let's get to it. Starting at the bottom, going to the top. I feel like I'm always doing roll call. I swear, because even Dave throws me under the bus each week. Nez says every Thursday, 8 p.m. Make sure to subscribe. Just saying. I'd like to see a few more of you over there on Thursdays. It'd be nice. We've got Randy Crooks, Max Josephson, the one and only Floop-de-doo, Dwight Bailey, Guitar Man 45, Billy Baloney, Tim Thomas, Mike Capsula. Dang it, I usually roll it. I usually actually get it 9 times. Mike, what's up? Keith, Magic Man, Denov, what's up? Dwight, Randy, Dwight, Mark, Martin, Magic, T. Ricky, Thomas Santiago, I Rock Zed Blues, the Hitman Dwight Bailey again, House of Twang. I want to say House of Ek Twang, but that's House with Twang.
Yeah, right.
House of Ek Twang. And we spit on your cattle.
Come on, say Twang.
Absolute Mayhem is here. He still has my HX Stomp. It's going to turn into, there's going to be a video series again. I just know it. It's going to be my HX Stomp traveling everywhere. Gear Junkie 35 made it. Mahogany. JP Page 2. Other left, 75 and Symmetry. Paul McMurray, L&M Guitar Corner, Being Martin, Milk Tea, Frosty, Terry Himes,
Euler,
RJ,
Terry.
Euler.
All right. Hey, there's Dane, Zim's Guitars here. Keep up the videos, Dane. I love that stuff. Dane gets cool stuff in. He's got one of those guitar shop, like, that's the shop I'm loitering at.
You know what? I'll tell you what. You never know what's going to come in because he got in Phil McKnight's. What was it? Friedman guitar, and then I saw who went. Laz, Music Therapy Laz.
Yes.
Laz went and bought it. I believe from Zim's.
Nice.
Cool.
Hey, Janice. Great to see Janice back.
Relic.
They say hey to Max. Max.
Yep.
Oh, man, I am on it tonight. And I'm on it tonight. Hey, Taylor.
Well, happy wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary, Guitar Man 45. 32 years. Wow.
Wow, how many more years till Pearl?
Wow, nice.
No, I kid. I love. That's awesome. BC Rich 581's here. Really? Wow. That's... Wow. Okay.
Thanks.
I was thinking more of a, I would go more of a Spinal Tap situation.
Yeah, that would fit me.
Okay, which of us is playing drums then?
Doesn't matter. It's Spinal Tap. We can all play drums at the same time.
Three bass solo.
Terry,
I called it here. Three bass solo.
That would be awesome.
I already got it figured out. I got a pedal for that, Terry. We don't need a drummer.
Oh yeah, true.
We got the pedal. We got the pedal. Terry's going to be playing some bass because he plays bass. Because he puts out videos on bass. So we're sticking him on bass. He gets to play some guitar too, because sometimes I'm going to want to play bass, because I have basses too. Tom, do you play bass at all?
I can play basic bass when I've had too many lifestyle choices that I can't.
Oh, well, then we're definitely going to... Gary, there's your song. It's going to be all bass players, and it's going to be called Basic Bass.
I already know the title of the song. It's going to be called the Gummy Bear March.
That sounds perfect.
And our first album will be titled The Triumphant Return of...
Yes.
Not anything creative like Sea of Whiz Cheese or...
No, we're not getting that trippy. No, it's not with Basic Bass. You know.
Frosty said The Great Crusade.
Yeah. The whole album is 3 tracks.
3 20-minute tracks.
3 20-minute tracks. Yep.
Mixed by Glenn Fricker.
No, that'll just be in the news. Glenn Fricker drops project after apparently an hour and a half. Listening to
what the hell? These guys don't know how to play bass.
He listened to the
we don't normally play bass.
Why do you have 3 basses on going through the same amp with the same exact EQ settings?
That's not our problem, Glenn.
That's
Glenn!
You're the engineer. You figure it out.
Terry reaches over. He goes, because usually by that point in the set, we're covering for each other a lot.
You need 6 hands to make up for you.
Yeah, the first album could be a greatest hits.
There you go. The greatest hits, yeah.
Hey,
the
I still
hits.
like for great live album names. Gatto had Best Seat in the House, and then they did another live album that was the second best seat in the house.
Or we could make it a tribute to Kim Mitchell and call it the Under the Patio Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Acoustic set. It's all patio lanterns and canoes on stage.
All 3 basses plugged into Big Muffs. 100%.
Oh, God.
Well, yeah, but then we'll switch over to like a fuzz face for lead riffs.
And 1 out of the 3 basses has to have like a crazy like delay and like an octave on it.
Oh, I'm using Rainbow
all
Machine.
over the place.
Bass with a Rainbow Machine.
There you go.
Yeah. Under the Bug Zapper. Oh, we need one of those too. Yep. That randomly zap right during a song. And I'm sure that will not affect guitar signal at all, having that thing going off. I see we do it.
Even though Ben wouldn't like the title, another song title could be Under the Maple Syrup Fountain.
Well, see, now what I'm thinking here is this sounds like it's going to be a very, very cottagey type album. So we're heading up to Terry's neck of the woods, Tom. You got to pick me up on the way, you see, right?
All right.
We head up there, and we got canoes and friggin' Halliburton chairs, which for you Americans are Adirondack chairs, but really they're not. They're Halliburton chairs for the North. What else? And yeah, and we'll have guitars and basses and drum pedals. And yeah, I can see it.
I just noticed Frosty tapping maple. I'm tapping maple. Tapping maple.
P. Search was like, man, that got weird fast.
You know what's funny? Fruit produces a nice Junebug will add to the mix nicely. When I hear Junebug, I immediately think Snoop Dogg's Uncle Junebug. Because he has an uncle they call Uncle Junebug. He's like, Uncle Junebug.
Those suckers, yeah, when they go off, that's like someone letting off a firecracker nearby.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're tap, 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 little mosquitoes, ting, 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 it'll fly, snap, and also crack. What was that? Oh, that was some form of beetle-type object. Canadian Bass Classics, the CBC.
Oh, jeez. That's awesome.
Welcome back to Canadian Bass Classics with Terry's 3Gs.
Now, what if we made it even worse and we dressed up as bass playing the bass?
Good.
Billy Bass's Booyah Bass.
Do we then just call ourselves the Bass Holes?
Bass Holes. Yeah. I think we're going to be going on tour, man, soon.
Eric's like, what have I just tuned into? That's right. CBC, bass classics and hockey documentaries.
3 bass players in bass suits, called the Bass Holes, playing the bass classics or bass classics, depending on how you say it. And a beat buddy is our drummer.
And everything, and all of our basses have to have Bass Boat Sparkle.
Oh yeah, and we have to have massive guitar pedal boards for each one of them. Bass Holes, exactly, man.
All the basses have to be Godin.
Yep.
They're all Canadian made. Why are you all hunched over? Because they're all made of Canadian maple. You know how heavy a bass body is?
Oh, God.
And I want like a giant trainer. I want like a giant trainer, like guitar amplifier, but my bass will go through it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I like playing bass through a 412 anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because let's be honest, like, we're going full like Lou Barlow. We'll have an SVT and a Marshall each.
And then, of course, 8x10.
That comes in as the rider for the back line. Beyond that, and then whatever hodgepodge of gear we bring along with that, because, my God, Tom, I know our back line, and Terry, you're just as eclectic. Our back line would look like Tom Petty's yard sale.
Yeah.
Just a hodgepodge of
we
gear.
We can up these amps for you, but then we can't pay you anything. We're like, but you
I was just thinking.
The curtains go up before we come on stage, and people are like, "What is this? A live action version of Hoarders?"
Yes.
It's all vintage and dirty.
Or are they trying to sell me old stuff? Like,
is this a yard sale?
Is this what's the one? This whole no. What's the? Oh shit! What is the? It was on PBS in the States where they're like, I found this in my garage.
Antiques Roadshow.
Antiques Roadshow. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Like, is this Antiques Roadshow or is this a concert? Like, you know, 1957 Stratocaster in mint condition.
Yeah, I would say I'd have to feel sorry for Milt. You're roadie.
Just about at that point in the show when someone leans over, they're like, why do they have so much gear on stage? All of a sudden, you'll see a single poof come from one of the amps, and then the tech just comes out, unplugs out of one, plugs into another, takes it into standby. Like, and then that's why, right? That was a good set. Only burnt up 2 pedals and 3 amps. Rock on.
You should only play at truck stops. There you go.
Truck stops and trailer
parks. Truck stops or trailer parks.
That works.
Oh, God.
Well, they do have those trailers that fold out into a stage.
Just tell us if someone gives us some sort of meal and you give us a place to bed down for the night, we're good. That's all we need. Place to sleep and something to eat.
It's the ballad of Ricky and Julian.
Yeah, I always wanted one of those stages for taking around to private events, right, or whatever, because it just folds out. Until I was in Charlotte, and they actually have a tractor trailer one that.
No.
And I'm like, and all of a sudden, dude, you have like a pretty slick pro stage.
Oh, because the stage comes off of both sides. I've seen those. It gets really wide.
Yeah. No, this one was only one side, but then that was your because the whole lighting rig was on that side.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And I was just like, that is awesome. I need
that'll do it like Dave Grohl did, where they were going very, very slow down the highway, and they're playing as they're going down the highway.
They've done that a few times.
I like that.
I think we actually have a question.
Sweet. I was just thinking, we're like 15 minutes into the show. For some reason, we still have 40 people watching.
That was some good riffing.
Yeah, that was some good riffing. We got out of the way on the top, I guess. I don't know. What do you got there for us, Terry?
What's up, Doc says, question. Player Plus Strat HSS, Bel Air Blue, Wolfgang Standard HH, Bocati, Sterling Cutlass HSS, Drop Copper, or other suggestions similar. Which one?
That Bel Air Blue new Strat, it's pretty sweet. I'm digging them. That's my choice.
That's probably my choice too, yeah. What do you think, Terry?
I agree.
I guess though it depends what
I don't want a copper guitar.
Yeah, I kind of would. Well, ever since
I have a copper guitar,
I'm kind of on that kick of that kind of satin matte black thing.
Yeah.
So the Cutlass.
He's a little leaning towards the Wolfgang.
I mean, it depends what you're playing and what you're into. If you're more into like Floyd Roses and stuff, then that would probably be a better choice for you.
Like what I'm hearing is I want a tremolo guitar.
Okay, well, if you want a tremolo guitar, yeah. Now, it's a dropped copper. What is that? Is that, like copper, penny copper? Are we talking dark copper or?
Yeah, it would kind of be like it would kind of be like that.
Rare relic. I didn't think those things still existed because I haven't been in the United States in a couple of years.
Oh, a penny?
Yeah.
They still make them, but they're made of very, very little copper.
We got rid of those years ago.
It's useless. It should be 5 cents.
Well, we just round up or round down.
Well, it doesn't. It costs more. It costs 2 or 3 cents to make each.
Exactly. That's why. Yeah, like in Canada, you just round up or round down. So either you're in it for 2 cents or you're out 2 cents.
Yeah,
and it all works out in the wash.
It breaks even. Yeah.
So that's another reason. Karma. Be good. It'll always work.
So much easier too, because then everything's by fives. It's so much easier.
So that's the other thing that What's Up Doc didn't necessarily say is the tremolos on each unit. If he wants a tremolo on, like, if he wants a hardtail, if he wants a tremolo, if he wants a specific kind of tremolo.
No, well, those are all tremolo guitars. You can't get a hardtail Wolfgang anymore, and I don't think you can get the only hardtail Strat I've seen is Custom Shop or Bullet Strat. It's literally both ends of the spectrum. There's nothing in between for hardtail Strat anymore. What's up, Haas?
What's up, Haas?
Hey, Haas.
There you go.
And Adam D.
He said the Fender player HSS great value. That's the one he used on the Melbourne Guitar Show video. He just striped it up, but
go with the Strat. There you go.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you care about resellability, blah blah.
Well,
blah,
I don't know. I think Wolfgangs definitely hold their value just as well as a Strat will. I think there's enough of a crowd for that, but those Strats, they're pretty damn sweet. Like,
yeah.
I think you're getting a lot for your money with the Strat, but it just, like I said, it depends too personally what you prefer.
What's up, Laz? We were just talking about you earlier. All bad, of course.
What's up? How's the new,
and dudettes.
How's the new Friedman doing, Laz? I saw your video. I want to see what how the color looks, because he posted a video, but it was kind of like in black and white, so I couldn't tell what the color actually looked like, but it sounded pretty cool.
Nice.
Well, I would venture to guess it looks dirty since he needs a shower.
What's up, Fret 11 Midnight?
Hey, friend.
Yeah, you need a shower. See, Laz, I was in your chat not so long ago, and I mentioned the same thing because I was going to grab a shower. You totally missed the comment. Just saying.
Hey, Fret Level.
I still like it when I mention something like that. People are going, TMI. It's like...
Yeah, it's like...
I said I was going to have a shower. I didn't say I was going to, like, spank the monkey or something, like...
Well, I think it's like, you say you're going to have a shower, and they have all these other thoughts in their head. It's like, no, I'm just going to
what you put in your own damn head is not my fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Just going to have a shower like human beings do. Oh, cool.
Yeah, anybody that's vacationed with me or hung out with me in California knows I'm shirtless at some point during the day.
I'll have to check it out, Laz. He said he reposted it, so I'll have to check that out.
Sun's out, shirts off. That's the way I roll, especially if it's above 60 degrees. Maybe 62. But in February,
actually,
62 is more than normal.
You'd probably be able to do it lower and have them all freaking out. How can you go without a shirt? I'm from Canada. This is shit's still warm.
I'll tell you this, Laz. He'll find this interesting. So my school district used to be, primarily maybe 20, 30 years ago, mostly white Caucasian kids. Now we are 50 to 55% Southeast Indian or Southeast Asian. But the biggest contingency coming up, I was going to tell Laz, is Ukrainian and Hungarian. And I don't mean like your grandfather was Hungarian, Ukrainian. I mean kids that are coming from Hungary into Ukraine.
Wow.
Cool. Because we have a Microsoft, Microsoft campus like 10 minutes from where I live. So they get like engineers and programmers and stuff from all over the world,
Now, Wow, that's
rumors are not true, Dane Ships.
That's quite the entrance into the chat, John. I'm just wow. That's right. Janice also has a shipment on the way from Zim's.
What's up, Amanda?
Hey, Amanda. And Sam.
Sam might be in bed by now.
Well, just in case.
Just in case. So get ready for bed, Sam. And I'll see you Thursday. I think Thursday, yes. That's right. So what else? Did I say hey to Milt? Hey, Milt. Oh, yeah, I know what I want to talk about. Speaking of Milt, who's Canadian. So we got to see a couple Canadians have a hang yesterday. Our friend Pete Thorne, who may or may not be co-hosting next week's show.
Cool.
Should be. Just teasing out there for the 45 of you watching. Leave a thumbs up if you're looking forward to Pete Thorne coming back on the channel. But Pete Thorne had the one and only Kim Mitchell on yesterday. And now, Tom, you seemed very knowledgeable. I don't know if you just had his Wikipedia, but have you been aware of Kim Mitchell for some period of time?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that. I was curious about that.
Well, for me, it's more like, I don't know how my memory works. I probably won't remember now, but it's like in the moment, there was not a lot of exposure to them in the United States, but we had a group of kids at my school, that were, so like some of my friends were into like the rock, and then some of my friends had like black nail polish, and they were like, if it's not popular here, I want to find out what it is and listen to it. So that's how I got exposed to Max Webster, through them. But I was always sitting in the back of like a smoky car, getting all the smoke blown into the back. So I always forgot names of songs and albums, but they would just play it constantly in the car.
Sure.
So I think it's more through like osmosis.
Yeah.
And then seeing like the one, like the blue guitar he had like years ago, like that was, when the internet first started coming around, that made me want to like do research on that. So I think my information is spotty at best.
Sure. Well, there's not a lot of stuff out there on them.
Right. But then all of a sudden I'll go, oh, wait, I remember this. I saw one small little blurb here. And that was when I like asked the question. It was like, I wasn't, Googling, but it was from some reset in my brain somewhere, like from 20 years ago.
Guitar Miller?
He was phenomenal, though. I mean, his knowledge and just
well, yeah, and after the initial, like, where Kim wanted to talk about Pete more than Pete talked about Kim.
Yeah.
Like,
that was cool.
Yeah.
He was like, he goes,
but, and I'm thinking, like, probably basically everything that we had heard may have come out during the 11 years that he was the afternoon drive time DJ for Q107, which is the largest rock station in Canada. And I don't know if you remember, Terry, when he did his radio show at the south corner of southeast corner of Dundas Square, used to be the Hard Rock Cafe. No longer there. But in the corner of the Hard Rock, they had basically a room with plexiglass facing the street, Tom. And Kim would be in there, like in a little booth, doing his show, and you could walk by and you're like, oh, wow, there's Kim Mitchell, doing a radio show. It's kind of trippy.
Wow.
Kind of like how it was with Much. Much had that great big open space that you could also look into.
Much, think about Much Music, Tom, or MTV, if they're set, okay? You have your set, and then they turn around sometimes, and it's all, like if they're in a storefront.
In New York City, it's like that. MTV was always on the second floor, and you could see out, and it was in Manhattan. It was right down.
Yeah, whereas Much Music, it was the ground floor. So you see people walking by, and so, especially, like you see that on a lot of breakfast shows, right?
Yeah, they put them right, like on a main street, right out in public on the ground floor.
Yeah, and they're on the ground floor, and there's the so the same thing. So when you had bands come in, they'd interview the band, and of course, then it looks great optically because sidewalks sucked if you were trying to walk down the sidewalk and Motley Crue's in town or something. Yeah, right at the corner of Queen and John.
Grandmother walks by with her groceries, and it's like Metallica's in town.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and like in Kim, other than a handful of interviews or doing the radio show, like there wasn't a lot, and there's not a lot out there. And to hear a long form interview, like it was great. Like I've seen videos on his Guitar Blue because Ken, the guy who built the guitar, is now the tech at Cosmo Music.
Oh,
which
wow.
is like talking about because I found it. There was a video. I think Cosmo put out the video of Kim getting the guitar restored a couple of years ago, like basically tuned up and make sure it. And so he took it to the guy who built it, and they made a video about it. Yeah. But other than that, like I didn't know, was it Gibson? He said ES 347.
Yeah. Or 345.
Yeah. No, 347 because I coil tap.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is rare. He said, but he has happened to rip the guts out of Gibson 347, and gave him to this Ken guy who threw him into a kit body, and then he said he had a Squire neck on it for a number of years, and then which would be a Fender Japan Squire neck,
right,
based on timeline, a OG Squire neck, and then that kind of Kramer-esque neck.
Yeah,
I went and I had missed that first probably about 50 minutes. I went back.
Yeah, and I'm like, Terry, you got to watch the start. This has been epic.
And quite honestly, the little bit that I've watched, but the stuff that I have watched or heard him talk in the last little while, yesterday's interview was just awesome, especially to see him geek out about hardware, about gear.
Yeah.
That's something I don't think I've ever seen him do ever.
And it was cool too, like the fact that when he got into the Marshalls, it's like, I got this this head off Keith Scott. I'm like, really, Keith Scott, really? Oh, not to mention, because Terry and I know, especially, there's always been that Canadian drain to the U.S. You make it big in Canada, but then, we got to do it in L.A. And there was always like David Foster. Yeah, he was the benchmark. The benchmark was David Foster and Bryan Adams, those two, and who was it Foster that co-wrote with Bryan Adams, or was somebody else? Amanda would know.
Yeah,
he's had this partnership with a songwriter since day one, and it's a David Foster type. I don't think it might not be.
There is also Daniel Langlois.
Daniel Langlois, right?
I think that guy is. To people that know him, he's not underrated, but to the general public, he's the most underrated artist in a long time. That guy just haunts me when he just him playing a guitar with a couple of effects.
Oh yeah, and then
how do you make it sound like that?
And then he got to the point as a producer that U2 wants to record an album. Will you come to me in Hamilton?
Yeah,
Ontario.
Yeah. He, you know what he was? Someone was calling him. They said he's the Canadian Rick Rubin.
Right. No, not Adam Valance. John, I think you got it right there. That rings a bell. Adam Valance.
Yeah, Keith Scott's not only a great guitar player, but man, his ability to. Did you see when he put together the one he had Tim Pierce there, and they did the Van Halen rig? It was so awesome, dude. Had everything. It was do you want to crank the head, or we have a pedal to emulate that if you don't want to crank the head, and then we have a real Echoplex, and then we have an Echoplex pedal in case the Echoplex is on the on the outs, had backups for everything.
There you go. And it was John say Jim Valance,
yeah, and Jim Valance, he did some work with some other artists as well. It's just escaping me who it was, but good to see Jimmy Ray Hawkins in here. But Keith Scott, everyone talks about great Keith Scott tone. Hey Tom, can you play a Strat into a high watt and sound tolerable? Because I'm not kidding you say good, but can you get a tolerable tone? Because I'd be like, you'd be like, just stop, just make it stop.
It's so clean.
Yeah, and then great tone. I've been watching a lot of live Bryan Adams stuff on and off in the last few months, 80s stuff, and you see those high watts on stage, and Bryan is playing a Jackson as much as anything.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And I'm like, he probably didn't pay for that either, or rocking a Strat. Hey, Mark. Hey, Craig. Hey, John. Just a whole boom. Did the bus stop? Just
hey, John, what's up?
They attached at the hip or something.
People they carpooled. They had to have carpooled.
When you see someone open the door to the bar in the winter, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's cold. Hurry up, close that." And you're like, "We're trying. There's 11 people coming in. Come on, guys. Come on." Yep, get your girlfriend. Your wife can fit in too. Come on, get in here. Close the door. And then you get inside the bar and it's this tight,
Yeah, speaking of weird guitars, like you mentioned about Bryan Adams playing the Jackson, Jeff Healey early on was playing a Jackson.
For the Squire.
Yep, before the Squire.
Well, John Mayer's been seen live playing like a Jackson, exactly. Toothpaste logo, headstock, like just like yours.
You'd be surprised where Jacksons show up. I still remember, I think the thing that blew me away the most was watching a documentary on Jeff Lynne.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were doing rehearsals and writing sessions for the Wilburys project.
Okay.
And if you know, they used Bob Dylan's home studio, right? For a lot of that stuff. And they're like standing around the kitchen playing type thing. And Bob Dylan's playing a Jackson bass.
That's awesome.
But it's just like a P bass. You can totally tell it's Jackson, but it had the Jackson headstock. But it was just like, and I was like, yeah. And even watching a bunch of old Platinum Blonde stuff, their bass player was playing a Kramer bass, but it was like lawsuit headstock. Like it was a total ripoff of a P bass. It just happened to be a Kramer.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes sense because you think those original Kramer P basses were probably marketed basically the same as a Squire bass, if they even made a Squire P bass at that time. You know, it's more like on par with a Tokai or something, or or any other Japanese bass that was played at the time. You know, they were just looking to make it like a Fender.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had all through school, I used an 80s Schecter Strat that was, still made at the Schecter Custom Shop when they were in Dallas.
Right. Really another nice company in that way. Yeah, back then.
No one knew what it was. I paid $300 for it. No one knew what it was.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. They're like, oh, what kind of Strat is that? I'm like, it's not. It's a Schecter. And they're like, because the logo had worn off. They're like, oh, I thought it was a.
And didn't they do basically a Strat headstock too?
Oh, it was an identical Strat headstock at the time. Yeah. And they said, oh, I thought that was a Fender Custom Shop, and just logo came off. I'm like, no, I paid $300 for this. Like, and I still have it. It's great. Yeah, they were in.
Does he hate Brad Miller? If not, hey, Brad Miller.
So Schecter's Custom Shop, Eric, he said didn't know Schecter existed in the 80s. Schecter was not like Schecter you think of today.
No,
Schecter made no metal guitars at all. Schecter only made copies of like Tellys and Strats, basically. And when they ran
their first guitar was what's his name? Pete Townsend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Telly?
Yep. It was a Telly. Yep.
He played a Schecter Telly. That's right.
So when they had the custom shop in Texas, that's when Tom Anderson still worked for him there. So those old original Texas custom shop Schecters are basically like a Tom Anderson. I mean, it's a Tom Anderson guitar, but I got it for $300, not $3,000 or $5,000 or whatever.
Hey, Blackjack Guitar and Hit Metal Works.
What's up, guys? My Kelly goes with my
couple Canucks. Just saying.
That's one thing I love is an Explorer or like an old Ibanez Destroyer.
Let's try and think of other stuff. Interesting to hear that Kim's a pedal head and an avid YouTube watcher.
Yeah, that was.
I like that when he just kind of turned the camera. He's like, "See that TV back there? That I just watch."
That was so awesome when he said that.
I watch gear videos. I was like, "That's awesome." Yeah, I was getting a very similar vibe. Him and Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that to you. They remind me like they could be brothers almost.
Yeah, like because they're both like that gear junkie thing,
but also very intellectual. Like it looks like they really take stuff in before they answer. Like I was really impressed.
Yep.
Hey,
Dan. Yeah, ESP before ESP was really ESP. You had the ESP USA,
the other thing
which was.
It was
really just a guitar shop in New York, and then you had ESP in Japan that was basically ghost building more than anything that would have their name on it. That would be like if World Music all of a sudden brought out a World Music brand.
Yeah. And
it's like, well, why would I buy one of your guitars? Like, we've been building your guitars for 30 years. Now it's our logo on it.
Well, the funniest thing I find too, like Terry and Ben, here's the funniest thing I find. People don't get it. If I was to travel to World Music's thing and said, here, I got $5,000, can you make me a guitar? I bet you they make something that will blow the shit out of even a custom shop Fender because you gave them the money so they have time to do it. Like the reason why overseas guitars are cheaper is because they said, we need 1,000 of them this week. I don't care. They don't have to all be
want it to be better than our American built product.
Screw up our other ones. Exactly.
We want to bring it out at half the price for half the quality or whatever.
That was the rumor why Fender left Japan, because they were making them too well.
Yeah.
You know,
hey, Charlie,
they were making them too good. The 80s and 90s Fender Japans are phenomenal. And everyone knows now the prices went up on them, you know.
Yeah. Oh, and now Fender Japan, they've embraced it. Fender FMIC, I should say, embraced it to the point where now it's only FSR.
Well, look, this is how respected Japan is now. James Tyler now has James Tyler USA models and James Tyler Japan models. And you know what? If you didn't tell me it was made in Japan, you can't tell a damn bit of difference.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Good night, sis. Good night, Sam.
See ya, man.
See, I knew it.
Yeah.
Night, Amanda. Night, Sam.
Wait. Point Terry. Wait, right after Ben clears that though, that's going to be point Ben in my book. Just the fact that he's clearing it. You know?
Now, to interject, I do have. Okay.
And he's kind of dating himself. I'm just saying. Guitar Man 45 showing his age by asking, anybody here have or ever have one of them there, you know, Ampeg, Dan Armstrong clear acrylic guitars?
Seen them, never got to experience.
There used to be one in a music store in Maryland I went to all the time, but they wanted, this is like 1995, and they wanted like $1,800 for it. $1,800 for back then. I'm like, no.
Or as my dad will tell you, because he hates acrylic guitars.
Oh, it weighed like 20 pounds.
Well, no, not only that, but acrylic is constantly curing. So eventually you're going to open up your guitar case and it's just going to be dust.
Yeah.
So he's like, they're all going to fall apart in 5-10 years. And that's why you don't see as many around, because eventually with that string tension, they're just going to pull apart.
And if you go from extreme to extreme heat, or vice versa with acrylic, you're going to crack the shit out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
so basically what you're saying is they're equivalent in price to a Dana Electra.
No. I actually, where was
I've only seen one once in a while.
They had an acrylic Les Paul hanging over one of the doors. And I was just like, is that for sale? They're like, that's a wall hanger. I'm like, I don't care. That's a Les Paul acrylic body. We can make that play again. Like, that would be so badass to have.
Who had I think, did Steve Vai have the acrylic with the fluorescent liquid inside of it? Was that Steve Vai or was that like John 5?
John 5 has one.
He's like, it is oil and water, but the one of them, I guess the water is dyed with like a glow-in-the-dark stuff.
Yeah.
You know
to quote Tommy Chong, I've seen that, man. I was at NAMM and they have a couple of those.
Isn't that cool?
I'm like, oh, wow, that's like a lava lamp in my guitar.
I know, that's what I thought. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We go. Frosty said Lexan maybe. Doug Santinello, acrylic acid smells like puke. Yeah, I've run into acrylic.
Yeah.
I have some stuff that has acrylic on it, older stuff, and it's.
BC Rich made an acrylic Mockingbird. Right. That's right.
I want to see the person brave enough to make a hollow glass guitar.
Physics, math, science won't work.
Like, I want this kind of pattern, you know, like.
Well,
I don't think it would work either.
You can do a swirl. You can dip it. Get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just to be glass would be so. It would last like a half a song, and then you'd be like, I think the bridge would cave in or something. You know?
You'd hit the wrong note and it would shatter.
Yeah. Symmetry said Vi has one too. That's cool. I couldn't remember. I know Vi has the one guitar that has his blood in the paint. You know, they mixed in, like they took like.
I saw one a few weeks ago.
A liter of blood or something out.
There's one on one of my videos, Tom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at Tundra, we saw one of those universes. It was hanging up there. It's in the video. I don't describe what it is,
but I was going to say, I'm always watching you to see if you say anything funny, so I don't notice the background that much.
And I think it was priced at around 13 Canadian.
Was it a Korean or Indonesian?
No, it's the real deal with Steve's blood in it and everything. It's one of those ones.
Oh, wow. That's
the
1,300. That would be an awesome.
No, 13,000, Terry.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, right. 13,000. Okay.
I was going to say, go there tomorrow and buy it for me, and I will send you the money.
Yeah, I bet
that's an insane price.
But dude, it's a clean one too. Which, let's be honest, most of them are. Who really played those ones?
Who's going to take it out and gig it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, nobody's gigging with that shit.
The only one
there's some sweet stuff there, like
The only one you could take out and gig would be if you bought the $25,000 Frankie, because you could resell it and they wouldn't know if you gigged it or not.
Yeah,
exactly. Or any pretty much pro play guitar, unless all documentation shows it with a certain condition.
Right.
You know, then you couldn't add a scratch. Well, I don't know. Could you? Yeah.
I was going to say...
Janice has a question, she says. All right.
Okay,
Ask
Janice.
away, Janice. Please, yes. This is a live Q&A show. We're live. Q&As. A minor? No, a negative. Let's thank the patrons while we wait for Janice's question. Unless you previously put it in the chat, so you can take a look at the chat, Terry, in case we missed it. If not, she's typing it. You can get a shout out every week, as well as help support the channel by becoming a patron on Patreon. Link right there. And I want to thank Guitar Man 45, Symmetry, Paul McNary, Mickey Settlemeyer, Joe C, Keith H, Knucklehead 0, Unfucking Believable, Charles 75N, John D351, JP Page 2, Jose Benito Martinez Jr., Fruitcake Tony, Bent Tom, Blackjack Guitar, Grumpy Mike Guitar, Craig, I almost say Craig T. Nelson. No. Craig Tomlinson. Because I just have Craig T. listed. And I'm like, Craig T. Nelson. Cousin Todd Flowers, Charles Green, Brad Guitar Miller, Absolute Mayhem, Other Left, Randy Crooks.
Coach!
Yes.
Craig T. Nelson.
All right, Janice does have her question in.
Yes. Do strings get an expiration date if they stay in the package a long time? Yes.
Yes.
Unless they are hermetically sealed in a vacuum.
They will go rusty.
They will go rusty.
Yep.
I don't care what they're inside because, yeah.
Especially when they put them in those loose cellophane things and don't.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, like what used to come in the paper.
Yep.
Paper was okay because it kind of helps absorb moisture. You know what I mean? Because it's porous to a certain extent. You put them in the Ziploc bags, D'Addario, they're always rusty. Unless you vacuum seal that, which they're not.
I threw out 3 pairs of rusty strings I had never used last week.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're like a year too old and I hadn't used them. Hey,
there he is. Yeah. No.
There you go. Craig Tomlinson has a question for you,
man. Cindy 99 in copious amounts.
Yes, Eric, I learned the hard way, unfortunately.
That reminds me when I bought that cheap set of strings from Walmart. Event,
October 23rd with Dave from Dave's World of Fun Stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's at Solo. I thought it was at somewhere else. I have to watch the video again.
He said it was at Solo.
I know it's October 23rd.
It's Solo in one of the locations. I can't remember if he said Brecken.
They only have one location, as far as I know.
So, I think he said it was the new store.
Well, unless they moved.
Well, didn't you just go to the recent one?
Well, they only have one store when I went there.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. And then COVID hit, so I'm surprised they have one store.
Yeah.
Solo noon to 4. Other left. See? Fellow Canuck. I knew it. Comes to the rescue. Although, Janice, I will say I have used very old new strings because I have strings and packages. Like, when you have 3 sets of boomers, is what I'm saying, Tom, and there are 3 different forms of packaging, you know you have some old strings.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like when I used to buy the Fender Silver Bullets. And it was like, the heck? Blue packaging? And it's like, are these silver bullets?
Yeah, Fender Bullet strings, you never get a fresh pack because nobody buys them. Sup, Dave Ennis? And we have Mr. Pedals himself, Lawrence, here.
Yep. Hey, Lawrence, Dave.
So he's pulling a Quentin. Okay, I'm here. Start over.
Hey, Dave. What's up, Lawrence?
So, yeah. Google only showed one store, according to Symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence says as long as the packages are sealed. Yeah, I disagree. There's still air. Unless they're vacuum sealed, there's still air in there, and air will react with the metal. I don't know.
Yeah, I
know Lawrence is smart and stuff because he knows.
I know Lawrence is much smarter than me about the stuff, but I can only go off my personal experience. It was about a week and a half ago, and I opened one of those sealed rip packs, and
well, you think Ernie balls
they were rusty as
should
hell.
Be fresh, guaranteed fresh.
Yeah.
But I've opened Ernie ball sacks that are rusty.
That's what it was. Ernie balls.
Dario's rusty, except for the coated ones. They were rusty. If I opened up a pack of coated strings and they were rusty, oh, you think there was a bad video regarding a certain shipping company? Oh my Lord, I will absolutely lose it and then some.
I will say though, I hear a lot of people ragging on Ernie balls. So like, oh, I can never get them. They always break through. Dude, I've broken about 8 strings total in 15 years of using Ernie balls. Stretch the shit out of them for about 20 minutes before you even play them. And if they break, they'll break then. They'll break then. I don't know what people are doing. I play the shit out of them. I play on the weekend, sometimes 8-10 hours in one day, and nothing happens to the string. So I don't know what you guys are doing, or maybe I have weak hands, but I never have a problem.
I can give you an answer to that too. It's like I haven't broken a whole bunch of Ernie ball strings either ever since I've been using them. But the one time I kept breaking strings, it was like, oh my God, why the hell am I breaking strings?
Now here's my question. Do people do their own maintenance? Because I do most of my own maintenance. And if you've got a little tiny burr either on your bridge or even a little thing on your nut, that'll break your string if it's a higher string. And I don't think people realize that. Usually it breaks because of a burr on the bridge, not because of the quality of the string itself.
We can help out symmetry. There's a tour of the Solo store here on the channel, a virtual tour, including
Mark Dillon,
a cameo, I believe, by Dave of Dave's World of Fun Stuff.
Yep. Yeah. In my instance, guess why I kept breaking my Ernie ball strings?
What was it?
You had a burr on the saddle?
No, the tuner, the Seiko tuner. Yeah. I changed the tuning settings somehow. And I kept tuning it up to pitch, but the pitch was set higher than 440.
Oh.
So I was overturning and then breaking the high E, and I'm like, what the hell? Then I go and I read it, and I'm like...
Guaranteed GHS boomers. They should call them GHS breakers.
I'll tell you what, here, this is a weird one too. What's the last string you broke? The last string I broke was a D string.
No. It's the same string I break on every string. It's the high E from GHS Boomers sent to me by Unfucking Believable. Gotcha. I made the video. I didn't show it in the video. I won't say this. Getting them up to pitch.
Yeah.
I snapped a string. And I went through. I had 4 other packs of Boomers in that workshop. Tom, guess how many high E strings are in those 4 packs of Boomers? Not one single fucking string. Why? Because I always break them. Sorry, rant over. What's up, Eric?
Yeah, that's all I've broken.
String. Hey, Buzz.
Is E's. That's the only thing I've ever broke is an E ever.
E's, B's.
I tried to do like a 2-step or 2.5-step bend on a D string, and I broke it.
I've broken D strings. I've broken low E strings.
That's definitely an odd.
Yeah, but I will tell you why I think it broke. I don't think it was the fault of the string. This is exactly where it broke.
Terry, play the same guitar every day for 2 hours and don't change the strings for 8 months.
It broke right there, Ben, and I think it was that that's the locking saddles like Pete Thorne has, and I think it was the locking part that broke it because I think it crimped the wind.
Yeah.
I remember having strings on the guitar so long, Terry, that not only were the plain strings black, but you could see they were getting thin in spots.
Oh, so I can't do it. I got to change mine like every 2 weeks or sometimes every week.
This is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Can't we just buy individual strings? Yes, actually, the best place to buy them, Amazon. Because you can buy like a 6-pack of high E's. That's what
you can buy like that big box where it's 25 sets. But it's 25 E's, 25 B's, 25 G's. So that way you just
give me an extra box of high E's. But
there you go.
Strings and Beyond, they also sell individuals. But I think it's only...
I will tell you, going into a brick and mortar music store and buying one string, you're going to pay as much for one string as half a pack of strings. Basically, it's half the price of a pack of strings for one string.
$2 to $3, I think, on average.
That's why I have a dozen partial packs of strings. And so I was on the Jungle website, and we're like, hey, hey, good sir, would you like a 3-pack of high E's for $7? I'm like, yes. Yes, I would, because they're $3 each here. So it's buy 2, get 1 free, basically. Or whatever, maybe it was 3 for $5 or whatever it was. So I just did that.
Oh, Buzz.
So now, yeah, if one string breaks, they all get changed. Same. The only time I replace just one string is if it's when I'm stringing a guitar and breaking a string during break-in. You know, like they're already fresh.
Yeah.
I gotta do some more string changes.
I mean, I literally will take all 6 though and lift the weight of the guitar on them. So if it's gonna break, it's usually gonna break. And I use one of those string stretcher things. If it's gonna break, it's gonna break when I'm setting it up.
Do it by
but I
John
Actually, I didn't even stretch the strings on the Gretsch. I just started playing it, and it was surprised. Those strings, it's been pretty consistent. I was surprised on that. Like I just put it up to pitch. I didn't really stretch them at all. And
you know, the weird thing is, like, if it's like a bad high E, I'll know because I'll yank it when I go to start it, and I'll just break it by pulling it.
And that's the thing. Like, and when I have broken strings, it's been like old strings, so you know that's no fault of the string. Rarely, I remember broke a string. It's always tuning down. I usually, whatever reason, it's when I'm backing off the tension.
Thanks
like,
for the
because I was tuning a guitar. I took whatever.
Take care.
I took one of my guitars to a gig, and I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a slide guitar tonight. I don't change the setup. I just tune it to open G.
Right.
As I'm tuning the high E down to D, it snapped. I'm like,
yeah, I've had that too.
For some reason, I understand increasing, but decreasing.
And you know what? I was
appreciate it, Doug.
I was thinking about that because that's happened to me, and I'm wondering if, like, maybe it's binding it on the post, and when you unwound it, that was enough just to let it.
And it's built tension that it just yanks itself.
Well, it's like when you go in, like a mechanic goes in, he goes, "Well, if I take this apart, I'm not going to be able to get it back together because it's being held together, you know."
I think too, like it could be, like it could be bound up. I figure it's bound up in the nut slot, and then you back it off enough, it just kinks, snaps, you know, whatever. And then I thought, well, I bend that string, do I? And I'm like, no, I don't actually bend the high E string a whole lot. It's always the G and B strings I'm always bending.
B string gets bent the most for me,
yeah. Because I find, because most of them, the strings are so close to the edge of the fretboard, I don't have enough purchase to really bend that high E, unless you're above the 12th fret.
Right.
I'm not up in that territory.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm very similar with Tom. I think most of my bends are in the B and the D, I think it is.
For me,
the string is above the B.
B and G for me.
That'd be G.
Yeah. B and G. Occasionally E, high E.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and even in that, it's like, I'm going to do a... You know,
I mean, I'll bend the shit out of my low E, A, and D. They just don't normally break.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, exactly. High E is the least bent string on the neck for me.
John, what did you do with Meteor High E? No, I'm just kidding. He said he bent the F out of it.
I was going to say, John ZD here has a weird one. He says, weirdest break I've ever had was a D string. Not at the nut or the bridge. Snapped it at the 3rd fret.
Yep.
I've done that before. Yep.
Yeah.
Not as much a random string failure. Like
when mine snapped, it snapped, but it stayed together by the winding. So the core broke, but it stayed together by the winding.
Look who decided to grace us with his presence.
Oh, there he is.
What's up, man?
Hey,
I hear you have quite the guest this Wednesday.
And Brian?
I believe he has Mr. Nesdall coming on this week.
Oh, nice.
Talking about his week he hung out with Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, Brian, for me, the same. Almost always the 3 unwound. That's
so
what
Lawrence, so we never break strings with increasing pressure, almost always when decreasing pitch. So, yeah, that's weird. It must be, I don't know what that deal is. I wonder. Someone needs to figure that out. Do a documentary.
The other thing I was going to say in John's instance.
What's up, Brian?
It also could be a weird, rare instance of the fret itself not being crowned right. And actually wearing on the string at that point as well too.
That's see, I use NYXLs on every guitar. Same way I've dented nickel strings on steel fretted guitars. Like you look at the underside of the strings on my Reno Fin, they're dented.
Yep.
Up and down. And if you're not denting the strings, you're denting the frets. Unless you do steel on steel, nickel on nickel. Not stressed that enough. It's simple metallurgy. Unless you don't mind recrowning your frets or having someone recrown your frets or replace your frets, don't do it. Oh, I see Kurt was on the phone with Tea Cake for the last hour. I see both of you. See, now Simon, he's one of these guys that uses NYXLs on everything. All right, but you've been warned, Simon. I don't care that you're a shredder that can play 5,300 notes per measure. Yes, per measure. That's right. We're getting technical.
His frets must be NYXLs too, then. Maybe
he has steel fretty guitars, and then I take it all back. I'm just saying, and a lot of people like the steel strings because they're brighter sounding. I do find they are bright. Same as stainless steel frets on a guitar will brighten up the tone. Steel strings.
Now, what are NYXL stainless steel? Are they coated or what?
No, they're stainless steel or steel anyway. I don't know if they're they're not stainless steel, but they're steel as opposed to nickel.
Yeah,
nickel wound, nickel coated. I don't know. What are the plain strings on the nickel set? Just nickel? Nickel coated? I don't know.
I know the nickel frets are nickel silver, right?
Right.
I don't know what the strings are, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. I've only tried NYXLs once.
Aha. Okay. Both John and Simon both use stainless frets.
There you go.
You may be excused.
And, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. Lawrence told you. The tensile strength of nickel is better than the memory of the nickel.
There we go. Nickel wrapped on a steel core. See, that's fine because you got the nickel cushion. It's like bumpers on a car, is what I'm saying. Which, do we really even have bumpers on cars anymore? We do, kind of, but they're so well hidden. It used to be you get in an accident, you replace the bumper. That's all you had to do.
And they used to be metal, too. Now they're all plastic.
Yeah, well, there's crappy metal hidden behind all that plastic that explodes on impact. That's why every accident's a write-off.
Well, every accident's a write-off, too, because the engine blocks on most of the new cars block, you know? Perfect.
Oh, jeez. Greg T. Nelson.
No, I don't know. He might be stuck with that name for 30 days the way YouTube and name changes, unless he created another account. But I recognize that avatar. Just say that's.
Hey, Ben, that deserves a quick session as honor.
Yeah. We're going to fire up saxophone for that one. Frosty paints cars for a living. I bet your knees suck.
Yeah, right. I bet you those are phenomenal at painting guitars. Which is the joke, because if you can paint a car, of course you can paint a guitar. It's no problem. But cars are much more difficult to paint. But I'd love to be able to paint seriously like that.
Crumple points. Yeah. They call it safety because they don't want you getting pitched through the windshield anymore. Hey, you shouldn't have gotten in an accident.
I'll tell you what, though. The fact that the engine block drops when you get a head-on hit in most cars, most new cars like that saved, like my buddy's life.
You know what? I really wish people were forced to drive classic cars on occasion.
So they would drive responsibly?
Oh, dude. Here, dude. Even Dad's car, 50s technology. Here, I'm going to give you this car, Tom. First of all, the steering wheel has a quarter turn of play.
Oh, yeah. It's got the...
Okay. You got a quarter turn of play.
Yeah, I got to do it. Yeah, with my seat.
And since there's no power steering, you're going to want to be moving if you're steering. You cannot just sit there and start turning it in advance. No bueno. Trust me. Oh, and the brakes are all drums, so the harder you hit them, the worse they work. So leave yourself lots of room.
And no airbags. Auto pump the brakes for you.
Yeah, you have no airbags. Okay. You have no seatbelt, and you have a metal dashboard. So,
can we get a modification for just
nice
the
message,
belt?
LPD.
So when you get an accident, it goes,
good rest of your night.
Oh yes, let's show it. There's a little teaser photo. As he's
got to get back to building nice driving.
For those that are on the
should have them ready for the listers by the end of the week. Awesome job.
I'm just saying, there's 3 left.
Nice.
Look
at that. Nice driving.
Just saying.
Don't complain when the price goes up like that horsey pedal. Don't complain when that happens.
Well, you know, you can throw away money on the K pedal, or you can step up your game. Because, you know, why not? Just be shameless that way. Yes. What else? Your tires aren't going to grip the road as well. Handling, sure.
I think Ricky nailed it. Old cars are great because you have to drive them. You can't just like hop in and let them do everything for you. Like,
all right, like you open up an owner's manual these days and it says like, don't eat the paint, right? Whereas you open up a manual from the 50s, it tells you how to gap your spark plugs.
And it has all the electrical wiring layout, like
everything. It's a service manual as well as an owner's manual.
Yeah, exactly. Like they expect you're going to be doing at least some, if not all, the work yourself.
Oh yeah,
you know. I mean, if you're a little old lady, you might only change the oil, and you might have your son do all the rest of the work or something.
Ooh, we have a question.
Or if you're a little old man, for that matter.
John DeShane asks, anyone try Freeland single coils?
That's what I use in my 69 Strat.
Well, there we are then.
Freeland Vintage Hots. I bought him when he was still doing mail order, like, I don't know, eons ago. And when Lindy was, you know, he's got a couple of people helping him now, but he was winding them all himself, which I don't think makes him sound any different. I'm not saying that. But the Vintage Hots I've used for, God, over 15 years now. They're great. I love Lindy Freeland's.
I don't want to say much, but I think there is one user, if they're still in the side chat, they own a set.
So if you see, like the last video I posted where I was using this guitar.
Gee, I wonder who you could be referring about, Terry.
These are Lindy Freeland's right here. So I don't know, Ben or Terry, what your impression is, but I've always loved them. I mean, they sound great to me.
I've never heard anything bad about. I've never tried them, but I've never heard a bad word ever spoken about Lindy Freeland.
Yeah. I can't remember offhand if I have actually officially tried them.
I don't want to try a set. Put it that way, Tom. I play a telly with Lindy's in them, and then I got to take my set off the market, or I just forward those pickups off to Travis and go, here, rip these off.
The way I would describe them is I had like standard, just, you know, Fender American Standard Strat pickups, and they sounded fine. They sounded great. They had the quack. They had everything. This was almost like if the standard Strat pickups were like just a piece of chicken. This was, you know, the Freelands are like a piece of chicken, but like a real good chef has taken his or her technique and like just spiced it up perfectly. So there's nothing wrong with the regular piece of chicken.
Lawrence says he just got a set of Freeland Vintage Hots for his SRV.
Yeah, I love the Vintage Hots. That's what I use. And I use the base plate. I use a base plate on the bridge. Gives you about 5% more output, I think.
Symmetry's Grill and Steak. Oh, Craig's back.
Front Level Midnight uses the Freeland Blues Specials, which are really good too. They're just, you know, a little bit hotter, but not hot by any means. Just a little warmer than the Vintage Hots.
Yeah, I've heard impressions that certain Freeland sets are actually better than what I understand to be one of the nicer Fender sets, the 69 Customs.
Well, I'll put it to you this way: I have 2 of the 3 real 1969 pickups for that guitar, and I tried them out in it, and I went back to the Freelands. They just sound better.
There's another one.
Hey, still.
I always say, you know, on these shows, tag my name, put some question marks, stand it with a super chat, or I should say, just put Telly in your comment. It'll stand out. I'm not familiar with Don Mayer pickups. I'd be curious to hear them, though.
Let me know, Lawrence, how you like that. Oh, Don Mayer makes great pickups. I've only heard them once. I've never played them, but I heard them in I want to say it was a Telly, but I can't remember. It was either a Telly or a I think it was a Telly. But a guy brought in his own guitar. It was... what was it? Guitar Center in New Jersey. I went to years ago. I went to pick something up there, and this guy and I was like, "What the hell is that Strat?" And he says they have Mayer pickups. I'm like, "What?" I thought he meant John Mayer. He goes, "No, Don Mayer pickups." And I went, "Oh my god, those sound good." I mean, they sounded phenomenal, but I've never played them myself.
Yeah, Mayer is in horse.
I mean, there's guys that make phenomenal pickups. Like Ron Ellis is backed up like 4 or 5 years. And a set of his Strat pickups are now like $1,500. But he's also some sort of like astrophysicist engineer by day and doesn't want to give up his day job. So he makes pickups on the side for guys like Leroy Parnell and Gibson Guitars. Isn't that crazy? It's like, what's his name? Brian May. Like when NASA needs help, they actually call Brian May for calculation work. That blows my mind, you know?
With the Nancy's Heart mod. What the hell is that, Jimmy Ray Hawkins? That just sounds awesome.
Yeah.
We got Don Mayers with the Nancy Hart mod. Sure. That just sounds awesome.
It does sound cool.
Don's backed up 2 years.
I believe it.
He's a very I feel like I've been missing
out
on
who else is like that. There's one more. There's another guy. I'm trying to think what his name is that makes like, you know, brand new but crazy.
Well, it's just like the Bare Knuckles. Bare Knuckles also have a very high rep. Lawlers have a pretty decent rep as well.
Do you know what company is gaining rep though, and is I think soon enough going to be up there? Is Pariah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pariah is doing. They made. Did you see the ones they made that are a copy of the? I was going to point here, but I put it in the case. They're a copy of the Music Man, like the Music Man Eddie Van Halen pickups, which is, you know, they're, you know, I guess the closest is what the what is it? Not the PA Pro, the Tone Zone and the
Aaron Norton.
These are dead on clones. Pariah made a set, and I haven't played them, but I watched a video of someone playing them in like a Music Man Axis, and they sounded great. You know, Virgil Arlo's. That's the other one. Thank you, House 20. That's the other one I'm thinking of. You could see a set of Virgil Arlo, like 3 Strat pickups on like Reverb, and they'll be like $1,200. I mean, like insane prices.
Okay, the Nancy's are modeled after the Roy Buchanan. Oh, nice. Okay. So Haas has simplified things. So Italian Strat pickups, he likes Fralins. Exactly. Pariahs for humbuckers. Okay. Sure. Pedals. LPD and Analog Man. Enough said. Yeah, the advantage of buying LPD over Analog Man is you don't have to wait 4 years. Which I thought was hilarious when Kim Mitchell mentioned that on the show. Yeah, I just got my King of Tone. I waited 4 years like everybody else. I'm just like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was cool. He said that.
Also shows how some companies actually don't give special privilege to artists.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Manny's Music in New York. They had an interview with Manny's Music. He said the only person I ever opened the store late for was Jimi Hendrix, and that was simply because at the time he just was on the schedule where he would have never been able to come in. He goes, I don't care if you're anyone else, not even the Beatles. He said, I don't open the store late for anyone. But Hendrix, he opened the store late for. He's like, he needed the equipment, and I loved him. You know, like, I thought that was a cool story.
Nice. So basically,
retail, yeah.
So well, that's what mine are. Mine are based off 53.
I love Roy Buchanan.
Something about Tellys. Just saying.
Like for me, I don't see there being a Danny Gatton if there was never a Roy Buchanan. I mean, that was just like paved the way to me, you know. I mean, it started with guys like Speedy West and Jimmy Bryant and, you know, all those guys. And you can't forget dudes like Roy Clark that had more impact than a lot of people. I think that it's weird. It's like because he was on Hee Haw, it's like people almost think that takes away. I almost think if he was never on Hee Haw, people would see how much more of a great musician he was. But I think it's like because he was on that show, they're like, oh, it's a fun Hollywood thing. You know what I mean? It's like, no, he's a serious mother after all.
These guys weren't lip syncing and
they were making jokes while they're playing their ass off.
No. And even if they were for audio purposes, you know, lip syncing it during the show, they still laid down the tracks beforehand. It's not like what we're saying. It wasn't the Monkees.
Have you ever seen Roy Clark when he was on Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers is playing piano and Roy Clark is playing guitar. And
that would have been awesome to see.
There's plenty of seats right next to us, right here, bro. Yeah, you can see it. It's out there somewhere. I think it's on YouTube.
Question. Have any of you played a Novo guitar? They look and sound great. I may have played a few.
I have not.
two come to mind, which I believe one I saw in a demo in his pedal demo today, and that would be RJ's latest pedal
demo. You played
demo.
the two most famous Novos. Just say it. Right? Yeah, Ben's so humble. Like, I feel like shouting it from the rooftops. Such a humble guy. It's all right, you can say it. You did play the two best ones, in my opinion. I think
after RJ was presented that guitar, I was the second person to play it.
That's awesome.
Because everyone's like, "Oh, that looks great," they're all. I'm like, "Hey, can I play it?" He's like, RJ, he's like, "Sure."
I always thought you were like the Canadian RJ anyway, because he's probably, out of the American people I know, just the most genuinely nice person you'll ever meet, and you're just the Canadian version of him. Like what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. He doesn't put any airs on. He's not bullshitting you. He's not trying to sell you anything. He's just himself, and that's very much you.
Exactly, and that was it. And we had joked about it later how it's come so handy because RJ's known for that guitar and that whole build, and everyone, how's it play? How's it play? And I can back it up when he's like, yeah, it doesn't look like this. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And he's like, yeah, it feels like this. I'm like, yes, it does.
That's cool.
And then and that was the second Novo I'd played. The first one being Rhett Shull's Pink Novo, which I think he did a video on today or yesterday.
He did a video yesterday or today that was like my #1 guitar, basically.
The guitar that changed my life.
The guitar that changed, something like that,
Yeah. And that was the first Novo I played because we walked in and he was just taking out the gig bag and hung it in the showroom with all the other Novos.
I gotta say, when I saw Pink Sparkle, like, maybe I had the same idea.
Exactly. And again, I walked up and I just said, "Hey man, can I play that?" And he's like, and I think like Aaron introduced us type thing, and then it was like, "Hi, how are you?" And then the whole time I'm like, "Can I play that?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then because it was, you walk in the door, the showroom was off to one side, the other side was to some offices, and that was where I guess that'd be the reception area. Maybe there was a desk. Because they had set up, that's where the food and the beer was. So,
I remember that chef.
If you walked in the door, and if you go straight ahead, that goes back to the factory floor. And I think there's a couple rooms off that hall as well. Mm-hmm. But the hall was, I don't know, 15 feet long, we'll say, right? And obviously off the shop. So I just went down that little hallway because everyone's talking because I want to hear the thing. I'm like, God damn, this thing's resonant. Because I went ding, and like Aaron does one of these around the corner because he's leaning on. He's like, resonant, eh? I'm like, no shit.
Nice.
And you hear Rhett laughing. So I was like, ooh, I guess it's not as loud in there as I thought it was. I was only like 4 feet down the hall or whatever. So
yeah,
that's a great playing guitar. Lighter than you would think because they're tempered pine, which is roasted pine,
like
cured
roasted
pine, dried pine. It's
super
pine,
light.
It's light. Yeah. And then go from there.
I love that relic sparkle, pink color though, man.
Yeah,
it's badass.
And I think I did play a couple Novos, or did I? No, because I guess that was all Revoltas. I don't know if they had any Novos actually out on display because they usually.
I know in that video you play another Revolta, but I don't know if you played another Novo. I do remember you playing a Revolta though.
Yeah.
From the video, I wasn't there, obviously, but
no, because I'm thinking aren't they mostly made to order? It seems.
Yeah, they make the ones they put on Instagram, which I'd love to have that problem. They make them and they literally sell right away. But I think most of them are made to order.
And I think most of those that are on Instagram are already customer guitars anyway. And it's just like, hey, can we show off your guitar before we ship it out the door? And see
I think you're right. Yeah, because they'll say one of these 5's for sale. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I know they do have production models, but that's like Texas Toast has production models. They don't, you're not going to walk into Texas Toast. They're going to have racks of guitars already made.
Right.
We don't have pallets of guitars sitting.
They just have templates, or they have, a program.
Or they might actually have a random body or neck laying around.
Yeah, they probably, they might even.
Yeah, you'd have stuff
pre-cut
if you're going to cut out one body, cut out 5 or type thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
but even then with Texas Toast, because they are as much, and same as Novo. Novo may have some blanks there, but
now is I'm gonna guess Novo size operation. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm gonna guess, are they like a single CNC? Like if you look at like Gibson, they have a thing that'll cut literally 10 bodies identical at once.
Yeah, no, they're all single machines there.
I mean, it would make sense to buy.
They might have more than one CNC machine.
But I mean, you could literally set the program up. You pick out your wood, and all you do is, okay, it's done. Go. You know, you could hire a high school kid to teach them to do that. All right, change out the wood, take that body from the pile. And over the course of a day,
hit reset, hit to go.
Over the course of a day, have them do a stack of bodies. You know, I mean, it would be simple work. I'm sure they do because, you know,
I'm actually surprised. You know, I'm actually surprised, Buzz, that it's not longer than
that's not bad.
Months.
That's not bad. Yeah. Well, no, because I think Terry 2 to 3 months.
Let me put it this way. So in 1996, my friend ordered a James Tyler guitar. And that's when their shop was even smaller than Nova's is now.
Still waiting for it.
It was James Tyler and 3 employees, and they were working out of James Tyler's garage at his house. And he waited 2.5 years for it. He had to pay half of in 1996 dollars, I think it was $3,500. And you know they're like $7,000 now.
But you think they can get them non-relic Fret Level Midnight? I don't think they have to relic them or anything.
Fret Level Midnight says. Not a fan of nitro. Wait, where's this? Oh, done with nitro. Sure, we'll give you can. Well, it depends. If you spray correctly outside, you'll be all right. But yeah, if you do it inside where you're breathing it, then you'll die like what's his name? The guy that made Slash's one guitar. Chris Derrick died from painting guitars inside. That's what killed him.
Well, let that Fender custom shop painter on Instagram. Who keeps posting up the videos? You see him; he's in a full suit.
Oh yeah, you got to be suited right up. Shooting any paint, really.
I mean, even when I do mine outside and I'm doing it very amateur.
Yeah, you should be suited up. Maybe I'm like,
I have a double respirator. And
it's like, did I even wear a mask when I shot my last Refin video?
No.
No, I don't put on a Tyvek suit or anything, but I double respirator up.
That's what it was. I stood upwind.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just remember when I did the right way.
Oh. I remember that. Instantly you turn the other side.
Well,
yeah.
Fret Level Midnight, though, you're getting the wrong point of it. That's not what kills you. It's not that. It's the fumes that are in the part of it that gases off almost immediately. So you have to be spraying it and inhaling it. Once that gas is off, it's not at the level where it can kill you anymore. There's no way. My ex-wife's a corporate litigator. There's no way that they could sell those guitars. There's no way in God's green earth they'd be able to sell those guitars if they were gassing off that much after it's done.
Yeah. Just like shellac. You really want to touch bug feces?
But I mean, the amount you're going to get from touching it is going to be no different than you're taking in that many, things in the environment. What's going to kill you is the fumes right when they're gassing off.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, like, I won't do certain things that other people believe are not that dangerous because, I don't want them to affect me. So I fully get and respect what you're saying. I didn't mean that in any way negating what you're
Frosty
saying.
mentions lead and lacquer.
I don't think it's to a point that they would be able to.
Tom, let me show that stir again.
All right, let me take my thing off.
I like that for Level Midnight. I don't care if I touch bug crap. It's at least natural.
Well, but, heroin's natural too. So let's be,
No, it isn't. Heroin is not natural.
Sure it is.
Morphine is natural. Heroin is a chemical.
Heroin comes from the poppy plant. Well, yeah, technically morphine. Yeah, you're right. But, I mean, alcohol in a sense is natural, and I think it's the most dangerous drug out there.
Now, is that with the background effect off?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, just in case.
That actually looks... There's a ghosted pattern under the paint. So that's only in the clear coat. So you can see an eye up there. See, there's an eye right there.
Yes.
There's like a whole pattern. I copied like this one. It was like an Incan or some sort of South American tribal pattern. I saw it and I just copied it, but just got bored. And...
Yes, Pauly does have some bad stuff in it. Acrylic is really
I mean, any kind of man-made thing like that's, or,
yeah,
stuff with carcinogens is going to be bad for you. Thank you, Haas. Yeah, fentanyl, I mean, is insane. But I mean, in the long term, true, fentanyl alcohol is not natural, it's processed. Yeah, but I mean, anything that I should say, I guess, anything that people use on a regular basis that comes from something natural, I don't know. I just have a lot of friends that work in the emergency room and doctors, nurses, and other physicians, and they all tell me 10 out of 10 times alcohol does the most damage over the long haul, to society.
That's right, Floop-de-doo. Bacon is natural.
I don't eat bacon, though. I haven't had pork.
My one cousin, he used to raise pigs, and we used to have bacon and also the pork chops. Oh my god, the pork chops the size of steaks.
Oh, I did my pork chops last night in leftover bacon grease.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had pork since I was about.
Yes, Fretland Midnight.
Yes, good question. Yes, thanks.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Nice.
Don't litter after you finish your alcohol or any other thing. Don't litter.
Don't litter. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
There you go. Buzz Wilson cocktail time for me. I mean, everything in moderation. I mean, anything, you overindulge is not going to be great for you.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to. Let me just, far from me to tell anyone what to do because I have way too many faults myself to preach to anyone. So, don't take it as me telling you what to do or not to do. I have my vices for sure.
Is Natty Light natty?
Is natural light beer natural?
Eric, that's a great question.
I don't know. It tastes like water to me, so I'd say it's natural. If anyone's had a Natty Light, you're like,
oh yeah,
that's pretty watery.
You could almost brush your teeth in it, and it wouldn't.
You could.
Gross.
You could shower in that stuff.
Yeah, there you go. We got some goldfish. Hold on, let me open this can.
Oh, I'm wondering. Yeah, wow.
Oh, there you go, John's D351. The only thing I don't know from Dalton is moderation.
That's true.
It's good,
and that's true too. Fretland Midnight Keystone Light is worse.
Keystone Light.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's a low bar.
I drank Keystone Light one time, and I think I
literally
of them. Worst.
Whenever I'm offered one, I think like I just don't. I'd rather be hot and thirsty than.
Worst headache ever drinking Keystone Light. Worst headache ever.
Look at that. We drove Laz to drink.
There we go. Well, there you go, Laz. Why not? Wouldn't be the first time you've drank with us. Well, we should probably wrap up the show. It has been a minute. You guys, have you heard the joke about American beer? It's like sex on the beach. Okay, so us as we wrap things up. Tom, any parting
yeah, any parting weird things?
Any parting weirds?
Hot
and horny gear. We forgot. We
started
last week, apparently. Anything you're hot and horny about in your parting thoughts? No, wait.
I was just going to say. What I was actually going to say is nothing to do with gear, unfortunately. But I was just going to say, hug the people that you care about, and treat today like it is your last, because it really might be. So that's my lesson I learned this week.
I agree.
Headstock Harem might be getting Schecter PT special
cool.
soon.
Very
cool.
Nice.
Is that the?
We got Brad Guitar Mueller shamelessly plugging his stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Which one's that one? Is that the front rocker, or we talk about what you call the other thing? Is your cell phone holder? I use it for business cards. I thought it was a business card holder. I don't know. He was flogging them last night, I think. I should show one off. Speaking of which, Brad, you're still supposed to come on so we can announce that contest.
Oh, cool. Laz is going to be playing his Friedman and some LPD pedals, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. Definitely want to check it out.
Business, so we're not going to show off.
Oh, that's 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. It's 12:30 noon my time. That's good. I can actually be awake then, because I always have trouble getting up early Sunday morning. But that's good. It'll be 12:30 for me.
I will do in my ad. I recently read a thing talking about Ozzy Osbourne's newest album that's going to come out,
Cool.
He's going to have collaborations on it
with
Iommi,
Nice.
Beck, Jeff Beck,
Wow.
and Zach Wilde.
Beck and Jeff Beck, or just Jeff Beck?
Just Jeff Beck, sorry.
Oh, good. Thank you. No offense.
I want to hear a collaboration by Jeff Beck. And that's why I call it Beck Jeff.
That would actually, you know what? You're right. That would be actually probably an awesome collab.
Beck and Beck.
You can get these from Bragg Guitar Miller.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Like Beck Bogart a piece, but it would be like Beck Bogart. Beck. No. Beck Born. Beck Osborne.
Yeah.
Play the garage. Thanks, Charles.
All right, you go back here.
Laz, link your channel, please.
Oh. Let go. Thank you. Jeez, cold pick. Need a pick. Need a pick. Need a pick. Get a pick. Charles wants to hear a tune. Charles is paying to hear a tune. What you want to hear, Charles?
Al said him and Kurt and Andrew and Brad, 5150 show tomorrow, are going live 7 p.m. Eastern, the 5150 show time, and we'll be going all day long for the anniversary of Ed's passing, like an open house barbecue. That sounds awesome, man. I'll definitely stop in and say hey to you guys. I love that blue, man. That blue. I bet it looks even better in person too.
Oh yeah. Because
it looks good on camera, but I'm betting in person
it's kind of close. But
I'm guessing in person it's way more vivid.
It's pretty sky blue.
Yeah. Cameras always make things look darker, I think.
Actually, the Fender Custom Shop guy was spraying one of those on Saturday.
Oh, really? Now, Terry,
same color, except more sparkle.
I always find it so relaxing to watch people spray like cars or guitars, just like it's so peaceful, like the shh, and then it goes from like being nothing to just being gorgeous at the end, you know. I love.
Well, he's hilarious in his commentary, and you just do this, and he's just, you know, it's so casual, but he's saying it's so comedic. It's always hilarious.
It was probably done like 8,000 of them. You know?
Well, yeah, exactly. He's been there for like years. Thanks for the 5, House of Twang.
Oh, thank you, House Twang.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Is that an EL84 or a 12A7? It looks like an EL84. Is that an EL84 in your picture or no? It looks like a JJ EL84, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Man, I didn't realize how much I loved EL84s until I started playing that Blues Junior, and I had no idea it was an EL84 in that amp. I thought I hated EL84s. And then I looked in it one day and I go, I thought that was a 12AX7 that was sticking out through the window. And I'm like, no, they wouldn't have the preamp tube sticking out through the window. They're not going to get that hot. And then I'm like, oh shit, they're EL84s. I'm like, I didn't know that amp was an EL84.
Yeah, I'll allow that one just because it's funny. Yeah, I'm still blown away by that one guy that made the mini head with the KT66s in it.
That's cool.
It's like those tubes are so big and tall. It's like to think like putting that in like an amp head about that big.
You need like a fan on it for all the heat.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
when's the last time you heard a Gretchen drop D?
I don't know if I have a long time.
Well, you have now.
Garden?
No,
they play guilds.
Exactly 10 seconds.
No, Chris Cornell on the first album.
Charles 75 in again.
He played
Charles coming in again.
But he still played guild even then.
Well, yeah. But Black Hole Sun in the video, he's playing the Gretsch.
You know what's funny though? It's weird how much like perception is like for example,
thanks, Charles.
Cliffs of Dover is played in the studio on an ES335, and everyone thinks it's a Strat. You know, like a lot of stuff like that. Like a lot of Les Zeppelin stuff that people think's a Les Paul because he played a Les Paul live. That's a Telly on the album, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, once you put a couple pedals on, some gain and some, you know, reverb and delay, you can make a single coil sound like a humbucker. You can't tell the difference on an album if you know, do it right.
Well, Terry, any parting words? We got sidetracked. Oh, I'm just going to rub it in, Tom.
Showing. What did I miss?
Nice. Milty. Echoing the same thing as Tom. Actually, last week, I also found out one of the guys I went to high school with passed away 2 Thursdays ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Again, I was closer with his twin brother than him. But again, just another thing about at the times, not to kind of harp in that point of that certain thing we can't mention, but please do, because hospitals are getting overworked. And in the instance of my friend that passed away, he actually had to have surgery on his liver. And when my friend didn't say how his brother passed away, but he presumes that they presume and believe that he bled internally to death.
Oh.
Ooh.
So again, you know, countless people out there that need surgeries, you know, stop overworking the system, stop overworking the hospitals, do the right things for, you know, not just yourself, but, you know, for your other fellow human beings.
Sure. Thanks very much, Laz, by the way. Yeah.
I'm aware of the Top Chat live chat, but you know what? I'll be honest, Fret Level, I did just realize I had it on Top Chat all night. I'm aware of how to change it, but I just didn't notice it. So that's my mistake. So I apologize. I probably was missing a lot of messages. So if I missed something
or you can have the StreamYard chat, which is all the stuff, I think.
Mine, for some reason, delays.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
It is delayed.
It's like it's way on delay, but so I apologize.
That's why I'm always delayed.
If I missed any questions,
did they say he did Stealth Parrot, by the way?
He said I've only seen half his messages. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I honestly don't, you know, didn't try to do that, of course, but I just realized after you said that.
I don't remember if we did, but he's Stealth Parrot, and exactly.
Sorry about my Fret Level. I'll try and keep an eye on that next time. It's my bad, dude. Sorry, man.
On that note, what do we have coming up this week? Suppose I should shoot some demos to put out this week or something. Ooh. We'll see. I got a new pedal on the way. There's still 3.
Oh, we never did finish the hot gear thing.
Yeah, we're not that hot. I'm hot on the new pedal that's on the way.
Oh, I'll tell you what I'm hot on, but I'm not getting it.
Oh, yeah, I can't talk about it. I'll say it. So I got the new Lawrence offset delay on the way.
Oh, cool. I'm still hot on the Soleil. Did I say it right?
Fuzz, which there might be one left. I don't know.
There might be.
Might be.
Okay, yeah. To make things quicker, I agree. If I could afford to get a Soleil, I'd get one because I do like the way how it sounds.
I saw that now, Fret Level. I'm not planning on selling that one, but I'll tell you what. If I sell my Schecter, you can have first refusal.
First dibs.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
You're from Texas. That's cool.
I should mention, yes, if you're watching and you're new and you tolerated us for this long, please
especially if you tolerate
like
me,
and subscribe.
Then you can tolerate anyone.
Yes, like, share, subscribe.
Probably some nice guys to balance this out.
We'll probably have some stuff coming in from the workbench this week. Come take, because I got a bunch of crap in there. I gotta get. Oh, I should talk to the neighbor today. He's a total woodworker.
Oh, cool.
I was thinking about outsourcing the drilling of those necks.
I thought you were going to take every one of your amps and convert it to like a flip down, upside down bread box head like that one I sent you last week.
Yeah, I totally should have talked to Brian today about that. Dang it, when I was outside moving the truck. So, you know, we'll see if we talk to the neighbor, get that taken care of. If not, I need, you know what? I might try because I got some high frets on a guitar I need to take care of, but I may not do it without a crowning file. I might try to just re-crown it by hand.
Freehand it?
Yeah.
What's the worst you can do?
Yeah, if it gets too out of shape, then I'll take the trip to Brighton, borrow Richie's crowning file, and then run it over a few times to crown it. If I got to do a
or even better, hey Dave, I know you don't normally do this, but can I drop a guitar off to you? No, Ben. No.
No, Ben.
Maybe money in there. Hey, Zach. So on that note, hold those doors open. Let that lady in heavy in traffic do good things, and good things will happen to you. Why? Doug's wife is real. Believe me, I know. I do. Rambling as I find. So yeah, do well, be well. Do well and be well. Sure, I like that. Do well and be well. And don't litter. Why? If you litter, Eddie Van Haskell's going to throw rotten produce at you. And then you have to pick it up because we don't litter. That sucks.